Misinformed Insanity, and this is a brand new Rant of the Week. Done one of these in a while, and I've completely redone the channel, and everything that I'm going to start doing is completely different than what I did before. But I thought with this Rant of the Week, I would start voicing my opinions on some things. In America, we are suffering from diseases that have no leads to these cures, and it's not something that you connect through genetics or through air or anything like that. It's a mind disease. These diseases, they range from the ostrich syndrome to corruption-induced greed. Let's start with the ostrich syndrome. Everybody in America has this syndrome. Well, not everybody, but most people in America have this syndrome where they tend to listen to what is told to them. For instance, if the media says this is what's happening, that's what people take as fact. When in all actuality, most of it's not correct. There's actually more to the story than just what they tell. And it's the same with politicians and friends and everybody else that tells you things. And people tend to believe these without researching or finding out the truth about certain facts. This is what I call the ostrich syndrome. Now, this syndrome ends up making people who have it not care or simply just make very uninformed decisions, which could potentially be very dangerous for our society. For example, America, most of America, believed in Obama's message that we need change, and yes, that we can. And it was a great message, but that message was not backed up. For example, when Bush left office, we had about a standing of $4 trillion in national debt. Now with Obama, we are now at $14 trillion in debt. That's not the kind of change that I was hoping for. We were in economic dire straits, and we still are. Yet, we're allowing people, based on video ads and TV and news and media and other hearsay, to inform our decisions to vote into office a guy who has now single-handedly brought down our nation to this little. What this debt means is that even if you don't have personal debt, you don't have credit card debt, you don't have a mortgage debt, you don't have any debt that's withstanding on your own personal making, you still have $45,586 in debt thanks to our government, because that is what we are in debt with the debt that our nation has. That's kind of ridiculous. That means for every child, an adult, an older person, or anybody living in the United States who's a United States citizen, you are required to pay this $45,000 in debt by the country. And I'm not saying through taxes and stuff like that, but it's still going to be on our heads to fix this. See what happens when you don't investigate and you make misinformed decisions and let the morons have their ideologies? I mean, pretty much what we're doing is we're allowing idiots to run other idiots. It's kind of messed up, don't you think? Now, the second disease is corruption-induced greed. And we have a perfect example of corruption-induced greed right now happening in Wisconsin. There are two things happening. The first would be the politicians. Wisconsin has hired, or elected, Democrats and Republicans to be their voice in the Senate, in the House, and in the governor's office, and as mayors and stuff like that. Well, because they had an issue with the fact that they were going to lose a vote, these politicians have decided that they're going to go and they're going to hide in another state. Pretty much what they've done is they've gone and said, okay, well, we don't like the outcome, so we're just not going to deal with it. I mean, as a mother, that makes me think of my 2-year-old telling me she doesn't want to take a nap. I'm sorry. sorry, I don't live in Wisconsin, but if I did, I would be outraged. I'm already outraged because these people are elected officials and you guys didn't elect children. You elected politicians and adults. So they need to stop acting like they're not getting their way and getting all butthurt about it and start doing their jobs that they were elected to do. Pretty much what these politicians have done is they've made themselves look weak and immature because they can't handle a simple vote. What happens when there's a major crisis in Wisconsin? We're not going to have any faith, or they're not going to have any faith in you or your ability to lead them. What you're doing is that you're showing that you are nothing but an idiot. My second issue with the second issue that's with this corruption-induced greed is the unions. Okay, we are in an economy right now that does not, it's not doing well. The job claims for people who don't have jobs is horrible. Our national debt sucks. People are more worried about things that we really shouldn't be worried about. And these people are fighting because they think that they're not going to get their negotiable terms or whatever through this vote that was being passed. Well, okay, I'm sorry, but if you are in any job, you have to pay into your health care and you have to pay into your pension or whatever, and you have to pay into everything else. The public sector has to do it, so why doesn't the private sector, such as these unions, also have to do it? I'm sorry, reverse that. The private sector has to do it. Why doesn't the public sector, like the unions, have to do it? That's what I should have said. So pretty much, now we've got these people complaining, oh my god, we have to pay more into the privileges that we get when we're not working or being able to go get a doctor. Who the fuck cares? Grow some balls, pay the extra into it like the rest of us do, so that way you can have the privilege of taking your child to a doctor. Or having the privilege to say, okay, I want to retire now, here's my pension. Some of us don't even get pensions. Some of us are working 2 or 3 or 4 jobs just to make ends meet, and you're worried that you have to pay 5.8% towards your pension? Come on now. God forbid you have to pay a little into your health care and pension. And God forbid that you have to work towards something and it not be handed out to you. This is not communism. This is America. You work for what you get. You work for what you have. You do not borrow against something you don't have. It should go back into the olden days where if you had the money, you had the money. Right there. And that's what you paid for stuff. You didn't borrow money so you could buy a house and then have to pay it off. That's what's wrong with everybody in this country, is that everybody is looking for the handouts, and nobody is working for what they deserve. They're trying to get what they think they're owed. Nobody's owed anything in this country. Pretty much, I'm disgusted with how things are in America. I'm disgusted with how things are in other countries with the protests and stuff. And I think with the new way that my channel is going to go is start looking at the real issues, not the media-based issues, not the sensationalized stories that we hear every day, but the real hard facts. And hopefully, maybe, I just might open up some eyes as to what we can really do to make sure that we're in a better position when our government either resets itself or when they fix what's wrong. So until next time, watch it, love it, live it.